Welcome to Terra Talks, where we talk about all things real estate. In each episode, we'll tackle current trends and topics of interest, both locally and regionally. However or wherever you decide to tune in, you're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome back to another episode of Terra Talks. Today, I am joined by my colleague, Lianne Earle, and it's her first time in the hot seat.
Happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
And we will be discussing what it's like to relocate to Barbados based on our personal experiences and the experiences we have shared with our clients doing the same. Both Lianne and I have lived away and come back to Barbados, so we have personal experiences relocating. Lianne most recently moved back after living away for 10 years. Prior to this, she moved back after completing university. Lianne, can you tell us what it was like moving back home at the two different stages in your life?
Sure. Thanks, Jess. When I returned from university, my priorities revolved around budget and location. I had a strong desire to live on the South Coast, and I just needed a one-bedroom. I eventually found a cottage in one of the residential neighborhoods.
And when you moved back last year after being away for 10 years, what was that like in comparison?
Well, my personal life had changed a fair bit from when I was 21. I was returning with a husband and a toddler, so my requirements in terms of what I was looking for from a rental perspective had changed quite a bit. Once I had our confirmed move date, I contacted my preferred agent at Terra Caribbean and provided her with a clear description of what I was looking for. The requirements were quite specific, as I really wanted to live in a particular development which is highly sought after. Given this, the agent had to keep an ear to the ground for any openings that were coming up over the months ahead of our arrival date. Terra managed to secure a place for us, which was not yet on the market, as it had just been sold but was about to be listed for rent. The agent did a video call with us, and we offered to rent the place on the spot. Based on the current state of the rental market with low inventory and high demand, I don't think we could have found a place without an agent.
Yeah, especially because you were looking for a very specific location and a specific development. Exactly. I'm so happy you mentioned the value that your agent was able to add to your rental search, especially given that you were off island and couldn't physically view properties yourself. Not gonna lie, finding rentals these days is such a challenge. That is based on a few different factors. So I'm really happy that your agent was able to find you exactly what you wanted, given everything that's been going on. And now you're an agent too, doing exactly what was done for you.
Exactly. And I love what I do. So Jess, tell me what your experience was like transitioning back to Barbados from a lifestyle point of view.
So I've actually left and come back to Barbados a few times, but I'll speak specifically about my return after being away for 3 years. I was living in Dubai, which is quite a fast-paced city, and my apartment there was in the heart of it all, which was great. I also was a flight attendant, so my lifestyle was exciting with lots of travel. When I made the decision to come back home, I was certainly ready, but it didn't change that coming back was an adjustment. I found Barbados to be a little slow, very quiet, and just lacking in the conveniences I had become used to living in a city like Dubai. 6 years later, I still miss my gym, but the reasons I wanted to move back are things that Dubai could not offer me.
Oh, I completely agree with that. I miss Amazon Prime. Sometimes I miss the gym too. I do think a lot of the times when people are moving to Barbados by choice, it is for the lifestyle. Whether you're relocating here by choice, for professional purposes, to be with a loved one, or any other reason, we offer a comprehensive relocation guide that your Terra agent can provide to you.
Yes, I love sharing the relocation guide with clients who let me know they're going to be living in Barbados long term for the first time, or even if they've lived here previously but haven't in recent times. It's a really useful resource with insights on culture, utilities, healthcare, insurance, transportation, schools. It literally covers everything you could think about. No doubt that relocating countries can be challenging, and a guide like this can really point you in the right direction with the day-to-day.
Does it mention whistling frogs or shafat?
Well, if it doesn't, they will be in your face from day one. As we start to wrap up, what do you think are some of the most important things a person should consider when relocating to Barbados?
I think it depends on what stage of life you're in. If you have children, I would recommend starting to look for schools or nurseries just to avoid disappointment.
Yeah, I completely agree that it depends on the stage of life you're at. I think one area that people tend to discount is how necessary having a car is here in Barbados. Depending on where you live, not everything is in a pleasant walking distance, and public transportation can be unreliable, again, depending on your location. Most people opt to purchase a secondhand car because the duties we pay on cars is quite high. However, if you prefer a new car, we have plenty dealerships on island selling the brands you know and love.
Totally agree. Another thing that does come to mind, more and more people are traveling and moving with their pets. While we do have landlords who are open to pet-friendly rentals, this is not always the case and is something that you should factor into your timeline when looking for a rental property.
Speaking of timelines, a question we often get asked is when should I start looking for a rental if I'm moving to Barbados? I spoke to a few agents and we all agree that 3 to 4 months prior to your ideal move-in date is the best time to actively start looking. I completely understand wanting to start the search sooner, but most landlords are not willing to hold their properties in anticipation of tenants for much longer than a month or two. So if you want to start searching sooner, there's no harm in doing that, but it would really just be to understand the market and what is out there and at what price, etc.
It's also worth noting that in Barbados, one agent can access listings from multiple agencies. This means that you, as a potential tenant, can streamline your property search by having just one primary point of contact. I can personally attest to the fact that during our own move back, with numerous moving parts to manage, having a single trusted agent representing us in the search for the ideal property was a tremendous relief.
Yeah, it is definitely useful finding someone you can trust, especially when you aren't physically here on island, because they act as your eyes and ears, you know? I think we've had a really good episode today, and I hope you as listeners have found it useful if you're thinking about moving to Barbados or if you're required to do so for work, school, or any other reason.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Terra Talks. If you want to find us on Instagram, Jess, your handle is?
My handle is Selling Barbados.
And mine is Lianne_Earl with an E at the end. If you have any suggestions for future podcasts or would like a copy of our relocation guide, please contact myself or Jessica and kindly subscribe to Terra Talks for more insights and information on all things Barbados. If you have any suggestions for future podcasts or would like a copy of our relocation guide, contact myself or Jessica and kindly subscribe to Terra Talks for more insights and information on all things Barbados.
Thanks so much, everyone. Hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode was filmed on location at the Sanzaru Villa in Sandaline. Sanzaru is a gorgeous 11-bedroom villa and perfect for the luxurious holiday getaway you've been planning. Click the link below for more information from our sister company, Blue Sky Luxury.